Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm indeed Hilde Eggermont. I'm the coordinator of the Belgian Biodiversity Platform, which is basically a science policy interface connecting the Belgian research community with national, European and global biodiversity initiatives. And within the platform, I also act as a focal point for IBES and as a vice chair for Biodiversa. So today, I will indeed give you some background information about nature-based solutions. I will give you some more insights of the objectives of nature-based solutions, the typology that we developed as Biodiversa, and then I will also give you some guidance on principles for effective implementation of nature-based solutions. But before starting with these 4 sections, I will briefly introduce you to Biodiversa itself, that I am actually representing today. So Biodiversa, it is a pan-European network of national and regional organizations that are programming and funding research on biodiversity, ecosystem services and nature-based solutions. So we are already existing since 2005, and we currently account 32 partners from 21 countries, both from the mainland and from the overseas. And we are funded currently by the Horizon 2020 ERNET COFIN scheme from the European Commission. So actually our core business is indeed funding of biodiversity research through annual calls, but we also invest a lot in stakeholder engagement, and we also have a lot of activities to enhance knowledge brokerage and knowledge transfer. So now moving back to the topic of today, nature-based solutions. Some context. We all know that the society is currently facing a lot of challenges: climate change, jeopardized water and food security, enhanced disaster risk, urbanization, public health. And in fact, research has shown that the planetary supply of the natural resources and the services can no longer meet the demand. And we can already see that one of the planetary boundaries that is crossed is the one of biosphere integrity. So actually the overall challenge is to bring and maintain the human demands for resources and services within the global supply constraints. And there are actually different ways to do so. There are different solutions that you can use for that. We have technological solutions that are simple, replicable, predictable. But in fact, you can also use nature as a solution, as a source to solve societal challenges. And these are the nature-based solutions. So I would say a general definition, it generally refers to the sustainable use and management of nature to tackle societal challenges, simultaneously providing benefits for society, for the economy, but also for the environment itself. So to give you just one example, there will be more examples given by the IUCN, is the protection of mangroves in coastal areas. So these can act as natural barriers against wind and coastal protection, but at the same time it can also provide nurseries for fish production to feed local populations. It can also increase biodiversity. So actually, while the concept of ecosystem services is often valued in terms of short-term benefits to people and economy, nature-based solutions tries to integrate societal factors, and it focuses on benefits for the environment, allowing to cope with environmental change and hazards on the long term. Now, nature-based solutions, it was some history. The concept was first used by the IUCN the late 2000s in the context of finding new solutions to mitigate and to adapt to climate change effects while simultaneously protecting biodiversity and improving sustainably livelihoods. And in fact, in 2009, the IUCN also referred to nature-based solutions in a position paper for the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. And then, post-2010, the concept was quickly taken up by policymakers, especially by the European Commission, that stressed that nature-based solutions could actually offer an innovative means to create jobs and growth as part of the green economy. It is also very strongly embedded in the global program of the IUCN itself. That will also be explained by the next speaker. And since 2015, the concept has also gained very wide acceptance outside the conservation community, and it's now well on its way to be mainstreamed in policies and in different programs, so also in the context of the Sustainable Development Goals and in the context of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. It's also taken up by research organizations, funding organizations like Biodiversa, that actually identified nature-based solutions as one of the 3 core themes in its strategic research and innovation agenda. So you can see a link from which you can download this research agenda. So it's a major topic to be funded over the next 4 years. Now, while the general objective of nature-based solutions is clear, namely the sustainable management and use of nature for tackling societal challenges and providing multiple benefits, different stakeholders still view it, I would say, from different perspectives. For example, according to the IUCN, nature-based solutions would be actions to protect, sustainably manage and restore natural and modified ecosystems that address societal challenges effectively and adaptively, and simultaneously providing human well-being and biodiversity benefits. So that is the IUCN definition, nailed down in 2016. And you can see that this framing puts the need for well-managed and restored ecosystems at the heart of nature-based solutions. So with the overall goal to support the achievement of the society's development goals and to safeguard human well-being in ways that reflect cultural and societal values, but also in a way that it increases the resilience of ecosystems, that it increases their capacity for renewal, and that it also provides ecosystem services. Then you also have the definition from the Commission. The Commission defines nature-based solutions as living solutions that are inspired by and continuously supported by and using nature, designed to address various societal challenges in a resource efficient and adaptable manner, and to provide simultaneously economic, social, and environmental benefits. So in fact, this framing puts economy and social assets at the heart of nature-based solutions. Nature-based solutions is seen as a tool to transform societal benefits. These different views, they're not really opposing, these are just different views on the concept. And nowadays they're, in fact, I would say, largely converging. There's definitely a good common ground, and that would be promoting sustainability and the increased role of natural, self-sustained processes that rely on biodiversity are inherent to nature-based solutions. So it's not about mimicking nature, it's not about imitating nature, it's really about promoting sustainability, increasing biodiversity, increasing resilience, and they constitute solutions for a wide range of stakeholders, and they bring about multiple benefits. So these elements are truly key when we speak about a nature-based solution. We innovate with and for nature. Now, clearly nature-based solution, it encompasses existing ideas, it builds on existing concepts and frameworks like ecological engineering, green infrastructures, ecosystem-based adaptation. So actually you can see nature-based solution also as some kind of an umbrella concept, as it has also been nicely explained in the publication by the IUCN, the one that is mentioned on the screen from 2016. But the added value of the concept is really that it's easier to grasp by a non-technological audience and by key societal actors. So that would increase stakeholder participation, and by that it will also increase more effective implementation. Now, in an attempt to further clarify what a nature-based solution is, I will use the example of a green roof. A green roof in cities to mitigate the effects of global warming. If you would build this green roof with just a few or very few plant species, regardless of their biogeographical distribution, and in fact these new structures, they would hardly contribute to increased biodiversity and delivery of ecosystem services. They may even lead to a poorer resistance and resilience to future environmental and extreme events. They can even increase management costs, and it can increase even the risk of biological invasions. So such an approach of a green roof that would completely miss out on elements like sustainability, increased biodiversity, and effectiveness at the city scale would, according to us, not fit the nature-based solution framing. But on the other hand, if you would build your green roof using a variety of species, and you take into account biogeographical traits, you take into account key functional traits, you will address multiple goals. Not only you will not only fight global warming, but you would also make sure that there's stormwater capture, you will bat pollution, you increase biodiversity, you have a better resilience against future hazards, and you apply that at the city scale. If you do that, according to us, that would be a good approach to nature-based solutions. That would be, according to us, fitting the frame. In fact, Biodiversa has developed a typology for nature-based solutions, and we distinguish 3 different types of nature-based solutions along 2 different gradients. The first gradient is here given on the x-axis. It depends on how much ecological engineering is involved. So that could actually range from no or minimal intervention to very intrusive ways and even creating completely new ecosystems. So that is one gradient. And then the second gradient would be looking at the number of services and stakeholder groups that are targeted by a specific nature-based solutions. And so the idea would be that the more services and the more stakeholder groups you target, the lower the maximization of key services would be. So actually that is what is captured in this figure by the y-axis. So you have these 2 gradients, and along these 2 gradients we distinguish 3 different types. The first type is actually meant for better use of natural and protected ecosystems. A nice example could be the UNESCO biosphere reserves or marine protected areas. And the second type, where you would have a little bit more of ecological engineering, that would be for sustainability and multifunctionality of managed ecosystems. So a nice example could be innovative planning of agricultural landscapes. And then if you further move along the axis, if you have very intrusive ways of managing your ecosystem, you can completely build a new ecosystem. You can, for example, green cities, or a nice example could also be green roofs and artificial ecosystems. So you have 3 distinct types, but actually you can also have intermediate types in space, but also in time. And I would like to end with a few, I would say, key principles that are proposed to guide effective and appropriate implementation of nature-based solutions, also allowing to upskill nature-based solutions. These principles derive from the publication that we made in 2015, but it also derives from the work from the ICN, and that has been done in the context of the World Conservation Congress. The first one is that we have to recognize that nature-based solutions are determined by very site-specific natural and cultural contexts that include traditional, local, and scientific knowledge. The second principle would be that we should recognize that nature-based solutions are not the one and only way. So they can, in fact, be used together with technological solutions. It's not that one is excluding the other. They are just part of a big package of an overall design of policies and actions that can be used to address specific challenges. The third take-home message, the third principle would be that we have to recognize the complexities and the uncertainties that surround nature-based solutions. So actually assessing this risk is very crucial. Otherwise, nature-based solutions could actually become a problem instead of a solution. So a nice example would be if you use a species for pest control, it could become invasive at the long term if controls are lacking. We also need transparency and a very broad participation of stakeholders. So stakeholder participation is crucial. And also a common understanding of the concept is crucial, because misunderstanding could actually also lead to misuse. And then the last recommendations for effective implementation of nature-based solutions. We need to look at lessons learned from the past, and we have to reassess existing practices in this new light of nature-based solutions. Also, we know that nature-based solutions aim at tackling multiple goals, but there are very few win-win situations where all the goals will be met. So we have to take into account that there will be trade-offs, and that we have to look for synergies. We will need the private sector. Private sector investment will be needed, but it cannot replace traditional sources for conservation, such as, for example, public funding or philanthropy. And also other measures like adaptation of economic subsidy schemes and the creation of opportunities for conservation finance will be crucial. But in order to do so, in order to actually convince these actors, we will need to provide a very robust evidence base for the contribution that nature has to economy and to jobs. And we have to demonstrate also the viability of these solutions compared to technological ones at a time scale that is relevant in the context of global change. So I would say nature-based solutions, they embrace, but they are not meant to replace nature conservation norms and principles. And with this, I would like to end my presentation, and I thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you very much, Hilde, for this very comprehensive overview of nature-based solution concept and typology. We would like to invite you now to also contribute a little bit to this discussion by a poll. And I will ask my colleague Pierre to send the poll to the audience. Okay, so we're going to have the results now of the poll.